The City That Stole Memories Part 1. Everyone in the city of Nora believed they were living ordinary lives, or at least that was what they thought. The streets were always clean, the schools were full of students, and the markets were crowded with people going about their daily routines. On the surface, the city seemed peaceful and welcoming, but beneath that calm appearance hid a secret that no one had ever managed to uncover. Every single night, exactly at midnight, one person would unknowingly lose a memory. Sometimes it was a childhood memory, sometimes the face of a loved one, sometimes the name of a best friend, and in the worst cases, people forgot the very reason they wanted to keep living. Because each person believed it was nothing more than ordinary forgetfulness, no one realized that these strange incidents were all connected. Ryan, a 17-year-old boy, never paid much attention to the stories people whispered about the city. He believed they were nothing but rumors created by frightened people looking for an explanation for life's ordinary mysteries. Ever since his parents had died in a mysterious accident years ago, he had lived with his younger sister, Leon. She was the only family he had left, and he had made a promise to himself that he would protect her no matter what happened. One evening, after finishing his shift at an old bookstore on the edge of the city, Ryan returned home later than usual. As he stepped inside, he found Leon sitting quietly in the corner of the living room, staring at an old family photograph. Tears filled her eyes as she held the picture with trembling hands. Ryan immediately rushed toward her and gently asked what was wrong. She slowly looked up at him with a confused expression and whispered, "Ryan, who is the woman standing next to us in this picture?" His heart almost stopped. The woman in the photograph was their mother. At first, Ryan forced a smile, thinking his sister was trying to joke with him. But after looking into her frightened eyes, he realized she was completely serious. She genuinely could not recognize the woman who had raised them. Ryan spent the next hour, telling Leon everything he could remember about their mother. He described her warm smile, the delicious meals she used to cook, the songs she sang every night before they went to sleep, and the comforting hugs she gave whenever they were afraid. Yet none of those stories awakened even the smallest memory. To Leon, it was as though their mother had never existed. The following morning, Ryan went to the bookstore as usual. While organizing dusty shelves that had not been touched in years, an old black leather book suddenly fell from one of the highest shelves and landed at his feet. It had no title, no author's name, and no markings on its cover. Curious, Ryan picked it up and carefully opened the first page. Every page inside was completely blank, except for one sentence written in deep red ink. "If you are reading these words, your journey has finally begun." Ryan blinked in surprise and immediately closed the book. When he opened it again, only a few seconds later, the sentence had completely disappeared. Instead, an ancient map of the city had appeared across the pages. At the center of the map, a red circle surrounded a place Ryan had only heard about in old legends. The abandoned clock tower. That night, unable to resist his curiosity, Ryan followed the map until he reached the forgotten tower standing alone outside the city. According to old stories, the clock had stopped working decades ago on the exact night dozens of people vanished without leaving behind a single trace. As Ryan stepped through the broken entrance, an overwhelming silence surrounded him. The air felt unnaturally heavy. Even his own footsteps sounded distant. He slowly climbed the long spiral staircase until he finally reached the room containing the enormous clock mechanism. Standing beside the frozen gears was an elderly man dressed in worn-out clothes, holding a silver pocket watch in his hand. The old man smiled calmly the moment he saw Ryan. "I've been waiting for you," he said softly. "For 17 years. Ryan froze. "How do you know who I am?" he asked. Instead of answering, the old man quietly opened his silver pocket watch. The moment it clicked open, everything stopped. The wind disappeared, the dust hanging in the air froze completely. Even the sound of Ryan's own breathing vanished. It was as though time itself had come to an end. The old man looked directly into Ryan's eyes before speaking in a calm but serious voice. "Time is not what people believe it is. Someone has been stealing people's memories and using them to keep time moving. If the memories ever disappear completely, time itself will cease to exist." Ryan could barely understand what he was hearing. It sounded impossible. And yet, every instinct inside him told him that the old man was speaking the truth. The old man reached into his pocket and handed Ryan a small bronze key. "This key opens a door that no ordinary person can see," he explained. "But remember this. Every truth has a price." Before Ryan could ask another question, the entire tower began shaking violently. The giant gears trembled. Stone walls cracked. A terrifying roar echoed throughout the tower. From the darkness behind the old man, a massive shadow slowly emerged. It had no recognizable face. Only two glowing crimson eyes staring directly at Ryan. A cold voice echoed through the room. "So, we finally found him." Without hesitation, the old man pushed Ryan toward the staircase. "Run!" he shouted. "Whatever happens, don't let them take your memories. Because the moment you forget who you are, no one will be able to save this world." Ryan ran as fast as he could while explosions shook the ancient tower behind him. He had no idea that this single night marked the beginning of a hidden war that had lasted for centuries. He did not know that his name had been written inside an ancient book hundreds of years before he was born. And he certainly did not know that the fate of the entire city depended on one forgotten memory buried deep within his childhood. A memory that, if it ever returned, could change the world forever.